Hi everyone, it's Kaylee and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I am always trying to burn down my TBR, my physical TBR, and I saw this idea by someone who did it on TikTok, so we're going to do a little version of it too. So I am going to pull 4 books from my TBR and I'm going to read the first chapter of each book, and then whichever book grabs me and that I'm the most interested in after the first chapter, that's the book we're gonna continue reading. So I'm gonna grab my TBR jar and we're gonna pick out 4 books. Okay, so book number 1 is Happenstance, and this is by Tessa Bailey. Book number 2 is Woke Up Like This. This is by Amy Leah. Book number 3, I Want It That Way, and that's an older book by Anna Aguirre. And book number 4 is Falling for the Royal Guard. I can't remember who wrote this one, but it's a rom-com that I picked up at a bookstore the other day. So we're gonna put all those, we're gonna grab the books, and then we're gonna read the first chapter of each one. So I've got my 4 books. Let's dive in and give them a try. So chapter 1 of this one, long story short, is she is a college student moving into an apartment building with 3 other people. A girl that she's sharing an apartment with and 2 boys, one of whom I believe is gay. Her and the girl have trouble moving a couch upstairs, so they meet their downstairs neighbor, whose name is Ty. And I think there's going to be something stirring between her and Ty. There sounded like there was a kid. Ty was reading Goodnight Moon to this little kid. So we could have a single dad situation going, which, if you know me, I love a single dad situation. Oh, the main girl's name is Nadia. So I guess we will find out. I didn't read anything in the back of the book. If I read the back of the book, it might have told me if he's a single dad. But so that's the first one. I'm slightly invested. It could get bumped out though. Next up, Woke Up Like This by Amy Leah. This is another case of not reading the back of the book. I'm gonna assume that this is a YA. It takes place as a girl who's planning her school's senior prom. Very, very short first chapter. I don't really think I got a feel for the character or the story. She's kind of a type A personality who likes to make lists and plan everything. Her dad left at some point when she was younger, and her mom is a pharmacist who wants to be an author and who wants her to be more teenager-like and less adult-like. I don't know if I'm invested in the story yet, but I could be because the writing is really good. Next up, Falling Hard for the Royal Guard by Megan Clausen. Not sure what to make of this one. I picked it up just because I liked the look of the cover. She lives in the Tower of London, of all places, and her father is a beefeater, which is one of these guys. And she, I'm guessing, falls for a different one, and one that's not her father. It starts out with her being late for work. She works at the ticketing office at the London Tower. And her ex-boyfriend, who I'm gonna guess cheated on her quite a few number of times before she broke up with him, I'm sure she realized it and broke up with him, tries to come over and win her back, and that's where the chapter ends. So while I'm liking the story and I'm interested to see where it goes, I don't know if anything in the first chapter really hooked me. So, but let's try book number 4. Book number 4 is Happenstance by Tessa Bailey. So I knew this was the why choose going into it. And I also knew that it was like self-published, like it's a very rough compared to like Tessa Bailey's traditional stuff. And I'm also kind of in a place where Tessa Bailey is not hugely my favorite. One of her latest golf romance really put me into a reading one. And this one is kind of weird. Like, I'm not sure if I'm understanding everything right. She is a journalist and she ends up on Roosevelt Island spying on the deputy mayor as well as the union boss who's apparently against the regular mayor. And then she ends up stuck in one of the Roosevelt Island trams with two guys, one who I think is a porn actor. The other one looks like a dude from Bridgerton, and the third one works for the union boss, and so it's tied into this whole conspiracy thing that she's investigating. So I'm intrigued, but I don't know if the first chapter, it almost gave me too much information and confused me rather than giving me enough information to get me hooked, if that makes sense. So these are the 4 books. I didn't even notice they're kind of like a purpley blue theme. I'm gonna say no to happenstance because I'm just a little confused and I don't know if I'm in a why choose place right now. I'm also gonna say no to this one because I am not in a YA place right now and that one feels very YA. Although I am looking forward to it because I do love this author. So that leaves 2 regular romances. And I think I'm gonna go with I Want It That Way. I love Anna Aguirre. I just finished a series of hers at Halloween last year, a whole witchy one. I'm intrigued by this. It looks like it might have a single dad trope. And I just got more hooked by the first chapter than I did from the Falling for the Royal Guard. So this is it. This is the book that we're going to read. Stay tuned and I will give you an update on how I liked it. So I finished it. It took me a couple days, and I want to say the part of the reason why it took me a couple days to finish it is because it's a print copy and not an ebook copy. I couldn't get an ebook or an audiobook copy from my Overdrive, and I just don't have as many opportunities to read a print book, if that makes sense. I carry my iPad with me everywhere I go. I also find it easier to read in bed at night off my iPad because I read in dark mode, so I read with a black screen and white writing. So I can read in the dark if I stay up later than my husband, whereas with this, I need a light to read it. So that's why I read more ebooks than I do physical books. So that, I think, is part of the reason why it took me 4 days to finish it. Less more about the plot. So it was about a single dad. Ty is a single dad of Sam, who he had when he was, I want to say, in his early 20s. There was a mom. She decided she didn't want to be a mom and she completely skipped town. I was waiting to see if she was going to show up at the end of the book or if her parents were going to make some big appearance at the end of the book. None of that happened. And Nadia lives in apartment 2B, which is the series that this is named after. And she ends up meeting Ty and Sam, and it's really cute. Sam ends up working at the daycare that Nadia works at. Sam goes to the daycare Nadia works at. And because Nadia is in school to be a special education teacher, so you see a lot of her college interactions. You don't see her like in class, but in like her practicum as well as working at the daycare. You also get to meet the other 3 characters who live in the apartment with Nadia, 2 of which I believe get their own books in the second and third book. And yeah, overall it was a cute story. It read a little bit older, you could tell that it wasn't written in 2023, 2024. It just had that vibe that it was written a few years ago. And I want to say, it was written in 2014. So it's 10 years old, which doesn't seem like a long time, but languages, things like that change. There was some LGBT characters in it, so that was nice. One of the 4th roommate who doesn't have a book, his name is Angus, and he is out, and I believe one of the 2 girls is bisexual, but I can't remember at this current moment. Overall, my thoughts on the story, it was a cute story. I liked how they ended up together. There was a backstory with her parents and some health issues that kind of tied everything together. Overall, it was pretty good. I will probably continue reading the story. Book 2 is about Lauren, Nadia's roommate and best friend, and Nadia's brother Rob. And book 3 is about Max, who lives with them, and Courtney, who moves into the apartment at the end of this book. So I will probably continue the series. The other thing I noted is that I Want It That Way, the name of a Backstreet Boys song. All of the books are the names of Backstreet Boys songs. Part of me was hoping that there would be a little bit of Backstreet Boys in there. You know, I was a 90s teen boy band girl when I was young. But yeah, book 2 is called As Long As You Love Me, and book 3, which is on my bookshelf and I can't reach it right now, is called, I believe it's called The Shape of My Heart. So yes, all 3 of the books in the series are Backstreet Boys names, and so that made the 90s teen pop girly in me very happy. But overall, I did enjoy the book. I will definitely be continuing the series. If you want me to continue the series right away and you want reviews of them right away, let me know in the comments below. Have you read this series? I know it's older, so it is put out by Harlequin, which is odd. When you think of Harlequin, you think of those little tiny books that are like Amish and whatnot. But overall, I gave the book 3.5 stars. I think if this story had been written more currently, it might have been higher. There was just a little bit of dated language and things like that that kind of bumped it down for me. And I gave it a 2 for spice. It wasn't overly heavy with spice, but there was some spice in it. So overall, I'm very pleased with the book that I chose. I definitely will still probably read the other 3 books from the beginning of the video that I haven't read yet. And if you liked this video format and you want me to try this again with 3 or 4 new books, let me know in the comments below. Do you have any suggestions for some books that I should read? Yeah. Thanks for watching.